Welcome back to Lecka Bites podcast, the one and only of the Lecka community. I am here with the one and only Valentin Orange. Good afternoon, Valentin.
Hey Marcus, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You're one of my best buddies in the trail running community, so I'm very happy to get you back on the Lecka Bites podcast. In fact, you have not been on the podcast before, but you were on the One More K podcast. It happens to be that I'm building up a podcast empire, so you are now on both of them. You're the only guest besides Annette who's been on both of them, so that is exciting.
More than this, 1 year ago to the 0 episode, only with you, do you remember?
True. You actually are episode 0 of all my podcasts, so that even more special. That is very true. I thought we would talk about today your UTMB race and the aftermath of your UTMB race. It was pretty much now 2 months ago when you were entering your 100-mile race in Chamonix, France. And I was lucky enough to be one of your crew members. I was not there the whole time. That was more your wife and your brother, but I was there for the first aid station. And let's go through that race again and do a bit of a recap of that race. You have publicly, of course, processed it also on YouTube. You have a great YouTube channel out there. Follow anyone out there, follow the YouTube channel. But in English now, let's have a bit of a recap of the UTMB race. How did it go, that 100-mile race in the French Alps?
I signed up for this race because last year I was running mainly 100Ks, 100K distances, and it went quite well. I did CCC, which is the little sister of UTMB, 100K. I got like a really good result for my level, and I was really happy. And I was lucky enough to have a second bib for the year after. So I asked UTMB to transfer my bib for CCC to UTMB. So that's why I was lucky to run UTMB this year. So that was my main goal. Beside this, that was also 2024 was also marked by the fact that I was moving back from Asia to France, and I settled down in the Alps for many reasons. But the main reason was to be close to the mountain and be able to train and improve in the mountains. So I actually structured my season towards UTMB, and I trained really hard. I thought I was well prepared for UTMB because I spent the whole summer in the mountains training a lot. And unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. And from the beginning I struggled. I was out of energy, and looking back now at 2 months after UTMB, I feel like I was overtrained and I was exhausted even before the start, and that's why it went really, really bad towards the end.
So just getting the facts together, at what aid station checkpoint did you drop out?
So I mean, as you know, UTMB is crazy. Like the first 30K is quite flat. You got like 1,500 meters gain and very like rolling climbs and very runnable. And also beside that, you have like all the excitement from the crowd. It's just insane. Like there's like thousands of people on the trail cheering and yelling at you, screaming your name. And obviously you are running too fast, you start too fast, even that you know that you shouldn't start too fast because 100 miles is very long. So I started fast. In the first few kilometers, I was next to Jim, not because I was too fast, because he was very slow, because I think I was like placed in like 100th position or maybe 80th position. But anyway, as everyone do, I started too fast. I saw you at kilometer 30. I was already tired, but I was okay. And then going into the night, I started to feel that my legs were not like responding well. Usually my strength is to go fast uphill, and then I was like out of energy after a few hours, and I slowed down. Then the night was quite a nightmare because I felt like I was in a bad day, and I was like having some negative thought, which was bad because it impacted also my mood and my mind. I reached Courmayeur. Courmayeur is a big aid station, kilometer 80, in 11 hours, which was quite good. I mean, looking back, it's quite good, but I planned to be there in 10 hours, so I was 1 hour late. And then from that point, I started to had some pains here and there, but more especially on the knees, and that was hard because I couldn't go fast uphill, but then at some point I couldn't run downhill, which is complicated when you want to do 100 miles if you cannot run at any time. So I pushed till kilometer 115. I mean, I was hoping that it would come back, because I know that sometimes it comes back, but it never came back. So I decided to stop because it was quite ridiculous and I was out of energy and my knees were super painful. So I didn't want to get it worse. My plan was to run in about 25 hours, sorry. And I think that was super ambitious and too ambitious and too ambitious for a first UTMB. And I didn't want to go until the end working, because that's not how I see try running and competition.
Okay, so there's a lot of things to dig into now. Let's go into the mind of Valentin from Courmayeur onwards, so kilometer 80 onwards, 115. What was going on in your mind? Like, there's a pain in your body, the pain in the knees. Okay, we can talk about that later, but I'm more curious about your mental mindset at that point or throughout that time.
It's funny because I was quite prepared. I mean, when you take the start of 100 miles, especially UTMB, there is a high risk of DNF, of quitting the race, because of all those factors that you can control, but there's also the factors that you cannot control, weather, like everything, the excitement, the crowd and everything, and you can really be absorbed by all the environment around you, especially if you're not really prepared. But from Courmayeur, it's funny because I was not really upset. I was sad because I knew that I would not be able to finish and to make it. I was thinking about all the training, all the hours spent in the mountains for this race. But at that point, I was like, I just want to go home and I want to think about something else. And I think I was already in a bad mood that I was already out of the race, even if I was still moving on.
So it was a lot of negative thoughts about. So you already had the idea in your head that you will not finish.
Yeah, it's. I think. I mean, now from what I learned after the race, I think I was not ready to. I was ready to take part of UTMB. I was ready to enjoy the feast, but I was not ready to run 100 miles. And I forgot that running 100 miles is more than just taking a start. And I was not. My body was probably prepared, but my mind wasn't. I
Right.
forgot that 100 miles is very long and we have to take it seriously, and it's very special race. It's very different from even from CCC is very different.
Just to clarify, you had done CCC the year before. Actually, you done very well at CCC. You had done 100 miles before as well.
Yeah,
That was, which race was it again?
Swiss Peaks.
So it
So
speaks
I did
correct.
I did so yeah. If you compare CCC and UTMB, it's so different. CCC you start at 9 in the morning, and then if you're fast, you finish before the night. I mean, or in the evening. So you spend the whole day outside, but you don't have to deal with the night and going through the night and everything. So it's a 1 day race. Also, there's less people on the trail. Less. It's very different vibes. So it's very competitive, but for me it's just a 1 day race, so you can still, even if you struggle, you can still manage to get to the finish line. It's 100K. The 100 miles I did 2 years ago was Swiss Peaks. It's a much harder race in terms of technicality and in terms of technicality and everything, but competition is nothing compared to UTMB. So Swiss Peaks is much smaller race. There's no competition, and it's much more tough in terms of technicality. So I cannot compare UTMB and Swiss Peaks. So I think I should have done like a more competitive 100K or 100 miles this year to be more prepared for UTMB.
Okay, and so you mentioned earlier you had the feelings of sadness. You said you were sad throughout the UTMB race at Courmayeur. You had the idea of stopping, and you seems like you were also angry with yourself that you didn't have done another 100 miler before. And so the question for me is, have you ever had such feelings before in other races, whether 100K, 100 miles, or was it completely new to you?
No, everything was new. This year is very special because before I've been running for 8 years, and every year I was improving. I had better results. I was living in Asia where the competition is less strong than in Europe, so I had great results, and yeah, every year was better and better. And then this year I DNF'd for the first time in my life on a special race in my hometown, a race that I won before, and that was very new for me because before I never thought about DNF in any race because everything was going so well. I was always super well prepared, but this year I think I had more work. I was more busy with my work, which is also tiring. I think it's a mix of like deep fatigue and everything, and then now I start to have like that escape from the pain is that if I think or if I feel that it's too painful, then I can stop, and it's super easy. Then in 1 second you can just say, okay, I want to quit, and then that's it. Everything is done.
So you're
So
saying that once you tasted the beauty of DNF, you know how it tastes like, that sweet flavor of DNF.
yeah, but before I would have never thought about DNF. Like it was not in my mind. Like it's also because I never really struggled. I never really had like these feelings. Like when I ran this race called La Bargeau in June, it's a very tough race because you have to run super fast, and at some point my leg completely stopped working. Like I was completely out of energy. I couldn't run, and then I was like, okay, enough. I should stop now. And for UTMB is a little bit different because it was much slower, obviously. So yeah, at some point I was like, well, if I DNF and then I stop this thing because everything is going bad, and so yeah, it's. But as you said, like, and now I opened the door, and I feel like I need to remove those bad thoughts from my mind for the next races.
How are you going to do it?
Um, I'm working on it now. First, I need to set different goals and not only one goal in a race. And that's also one of the mistake I made for UTMB is that I had one goal which was hard to achieve, and then I had no B or C goal C or goal B. So I think yeah, you need to set like three goals. One is maybe to finish. One is to finish in this position or this time, and then the goal A would be the hardest to achieve. But then if you achieve like one of those goals, at least you feel grateful for yourself. Then the other issue and the mistake I made this year is that I planned only two big races, and I didn't plan to do any other races because I moved back to France and I didn't know where I would be living or how much time it would take, and I had a lot of work, so I didn't want to plan any other race. But also in the meantime, it would be better to do a bit like another race to prepare UTMB and to test the gears, to test nutrition, to test the body and everything. So yeah, having UTMB only as a long distance race for the whole year maybe was not enough.
So basically, it would have been good do you think it's fair to say, good to push your boundaries to the extreme before a bit more to experience DNF-like situations, or is it more just getting used to?
No, it's more like to have like a B race to get ready for your A race. Like to have like maybe 2 months before your A race, you have a race that where you can try your gears, you can try nutrition, you can test like everything to see if your body is well trained and everything. So yeah, I think it's just like, and yeah, it's. I was talking recently. I was working with some of the sky runners, like those who do like sky races, so short distance, and they do like 18. There was one runner. She did 18 race this year. So for them, it's just like if they miss one race, if they DNF one race, it doesn't matter because in 3 weeks they will have another race.
Mm.
So in ultra, if you have like 2 or 3 main goals, if you DNF one or if you miss one, then the whole season is impacted, like because you are spending so much time training for one race. If it doesn't go well, then it ruins your whole training and your whole season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but earlier you said that you felt you were overtrained. So I'm trying to combine those things. You say you felt overtrained, but you didn't have a B race before. So what's the focus? What's more important? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I analyzed my training also because everyone was looking at my Strava and they were like, "Wow, you're gonna smash it! You did so many long runs. You're so well prepared and everything." But then I realized that, yeah, of course. I mean, I did. I ran so much in July and June and August, sorry. But I think I didn't rest first. I didn't rest at all. Like I was running every day, 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, and then the day after, I should have done like some blocks and then some resting days or off days to absorb all the training and to yeah to adapt. Also, I think I didn't sleep well over the summer. It
Okay.
was quite hot and I was stressed. Even if I didn't take any jobs to train, especially for UTMB in July and August, I had in mind that I had to finish some work in September, and I was thinking about it every day. And I felt a little bit guilty running and training every day without working. That's another factor. And I think we are coming to the point: nutrition. I didn't
Mm.
eat enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I realized. I neglected the power of nutrition and food. That's something you know me. I never had any trouble with nutrition. I never had any issue during the race eating or anything, stomach issues. Still the case. But then, if you look at the volume, if you look at the mileage I did over the summer, maybe I was spending like 4,000 or 5,000 calories every day. How can you get those calories in?
Wow. And you
And
had a normal diet, normal
I had a
intake.
normal diet. I was eating, but not that
Mm.
much. And the main meal, I was having like a normal portion, but then I was eating a lot of, I don't know, dessert and everything, but not bad food, not industrial food, but like I was eating a lot of fruits. I was eating a lot of oatmeal, yogurt, just to fulfill my
Mm.
body. But the best calorie would be, or the best food would be like to have like more meals a day or bigger portions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you track your calorie intake? Did you or
No,
carbohydrate intake? Yeah. So you just
no,
did it by feeling, I believe.
no. Yeah, I didn't track anything, and that's something I'm not good at because I don't really pay attention. I am eating healthy or all year long, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm just like I felt like, I mean, after UTMB I felt like I was too tired, and I think, yeah, I should have been more cautious about the like nutrition during the preparation.
Yeah, sounds like the yeah carbohydrates, the protein for recovery. The
Also, there. I mean, as I said, I was working a lot. I had like some big projects, and I was training a lot, and no rest day for 2 weeks. Almost no rest day. It's not in 2 weeks before the race that you can really rest, and yeah, there was more like deep fatigue than
so you did 2 weeks tapering,
yeah, sort
but
of.
you think 2 weeks were actually not really much because you were already coming very tired into it, and it didn't help.
Yeah. Also,
Mm.
in those 2 weeks, there is the week of UTMB, which is also super tiring and stressful. So yeah, it's a mix of like everything, plus the fact that I was not sleeping very well. Yeah, I think I was not rested
Yeah.
enough.
Would you say that you said earlier, but just to confirm this, at the beginning of the race, you already felt kind of tired?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but from my experience, as I said, I always had like good results and I always had like good races. I'm never worried about that because I had like some experience before. There was this race, Amazon Jungle by UTMB last year, February 2023. It's 100K. and I was super tired the whole week. I was traveling, and then I couldn't sleep, and at the beginning of the race I was completely shattered, and after 20k I was out of energy, and it came back. I was like, okay, let's go to the next checkpoint, and then at that checkpoint I was like, okay, let's push a little bit, and it came back, and I did a super great result. So I with I thought that it would happen for UTMB, but it didn't.
Do you think there's any possibility, now in hindsight, of course, that you could have pushed through it even by walking?
No, I mean, obviously you can, but my knees were so there was two things. There was the energy level, but there was also the real pain on the knees. That somehow I feel that my body gave me that excuse. It was a real
Signal.
pain. I
Yeah, signal.
signal, yeah,
Yeah.
signal. It
Mm.
was a real pain. I was not lying, but I
Yeah.
feel like my body was like, okay, I give you this,
Yeah.
and then you can stop,
Mm.
because if it's just a question of energy, that's not an excuse to DNF.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah.
Which is interesting, the whole pain conversation, which, I mean, I've been just going through my own 10-day meditation camp, and I've been just saying earlier as well before the show that pain is also emotional pain. So physical pain manifests itself from emotional pain, and any pain is only impermanent, so it's not going to stay there, right? It's just temporary, unless of course you have some serious health issues.
Mm.
That's a different conversation. But for example, in my case, you're sitting for 2 hours straight, you will have back pain eventually because you from sitting. But then you
Yeah.
realize, oh my god, sitting is actually nothing harmful. It's just sitting. It should be possible to sit for 2 hours, but it's then you come to the pain. So, how long did your knee pain last after the race?
2 days.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it. Even when I was running, I knew that the day after would be okay. I know that pain usually it comes when I'm undertrained. Like, it's more like the joints that are painful because your muscles cannot support the load. But in that case, it's weird because I was overtrained. I was really well prepared. So maybe it's because of the first part where I ran fast, and maybe over the summer I was hiking more than running. So maybe my body forgot how to deal with the runnable part.
Mm.
But regarding to what you said, is also funny that so I stopped after UTMB also because my motivation was below zero. So I stopped for 2 weeks, and then I started to run again 1 week. And then on a Saturday, I was filming a lady running 24 hours. So I joined her for a few laps, and I had some pain in my knee. And it's funny because in normal time I would be so depressed, not depressed, but I would be so unhappy, concerned, being injured, because I knew that that pain was, it was a different pain from UTMB, but it was a serious one. And I was like, okay, that's another signal from another, yeah, signal from my body. And so I rested for 8 weeks, and totally fine with that. Like, I mean, you know me, like, I'm running every day, I'm doing sport all the time, I'm super active. And if I don't know if you remember, but like 4 years ago I was injured, and I couldn't run for 3 months, and I was so depressed, and it was like the worst time of my life. And this time I'm okay, I'm so in peace. Yeah, I feel like
Wow.
it's completely okay. Also because I realized that I haven't stopped for maybe 2 or 3 years. So yeah, I feel like my body needs like a long and a nice break from running.
UTMB changed you.
I mean, I everyone told me that when you DNF, you learn more than when you win a race. So, but it's two DNF in a row is tough. But then I also realized that there are like more important things in life. So it's just, I mean, when you look at the big picture, it's annoying because I spend so much time training for this race, especially. I also announced that I wanted to do great things and everything, all those social announcements and everything. But beside that, UTMB is every year, and it's so big, and maybe I will come back, maybe not, but it doesn't really matter because you're just one runner among like 2,500, so it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, any kind of failure humbles you, grounds you, makes you more zen, right?
Yeah.
You see the bigger picture. It sounds like that UTMB 100 miles did it to you.
Yeah, and there's also one thing that I was grateful is that I was able to train over the summer, and I had so much fun training in the mountain. I would be more annoyed if I get injured in June or before the training and not being able to spend time outside in summer, because I mean the most important is also like yeah, spending time outside, and yeah, it's the race is the outcome, but then if you had fun, it's fine.
On the note on public exposure, because you're also a KOL, YouTuber, you're very active in the media space yourself with your job. Would you do things different now, given what you've been through this year with goal setting, public statements, whatnot?
Yeah, definitely. I was maybe too arrogant. I was too confident. Also because of my previous results, I felt like I always speak with my brother about that because my brother is a completely different person. He's more shy, more introvert, and he never speaks about his races or the coming races because he doesn't want to have bad luck. I'm okay with that because I always have good results. So I mean, for my level, so it's fine. So before UTMB, 10 days before UTMB, I was a bit bored. So I decided to make a video to talk about the gear I will use, the strategy, my training, and everything. So it was my first time speaking in front of the camera, and I had that feeling that it would give me bad luck. But I still wanted to do it, also because I thought it was a great opportunity to launch or relaunch my or launch again my YouTube channel. So I did it, and then after UTMB, I felt like I had to because I got like a lot of views and comments and people followed me, and I was like, maybe I should do another video and to explain what happened a few days after the race. So I did it, but I would never do it again because it was painful. Yeah, it's so now I don't post anything on Strava. Well, I don't have anything to post on Strava, but I decided to I decided to be silent.
Yeah.
It's funny because now it's been 2 months and I got some friends, followers that are texting me like, "What's going on? I'm sure you're running. Why are you hiding your activities?" And I'm like, it doesn't matter. So next race I will be silent.
Okay. How are you going to, or how are you now training your mind?
Yeah, as I said, I'm okay. It's just like after a few weeks, you feel. I mean, you're going from 25, 30 hours a week of training to zero. So the first week is okay because it's the week after the race. Second week, it's okay, and then at some point you feel a bit itchy not training. From now I feel more like I miss spending energy, so I don't want to be too passive, and so
Mm,
I'm yeah gaining a little bit of fat, and which is great, which is good for my body, I know, because it's part of recovery, but and also again it's temporary. But yeah, it's more like I when I see the mountain outside, I'm like, I want to go there again. So but I don't miss competition. I don't want to do that mistake of signing up for another race just to remove all the bad memories. So yeah.
mm. And are you doing any like mental exercises? Are you doing any coaching, training on the
Yeah.
mental side?
So yeah, the funny thing is that there's a mental coach that reached out to me. I think it was right after UTMB. So I mean, good timing. So I'm doing some sessions now it helps me a lot actually, because it's opened doors for many things. I can have like an overview of what happened this year. I learned a lot of things about myself, about my training, about my mental health, about public life, social life, professional life, career, all the what I want to achieve, what I want to do in the next few years, and everything. So it's a lot of things going on. I'm trying to put everything together and to understand what's going on in my mind. But so far, I feel very grateful, because from that failure, TNF, I learned a lot, and much more than if I would have finished in 27 hours and yeah, like that.
I think it's interesting. The people tend to forget that everything is connected, and as you just said yourself, it's important to look at your entire life, which includes family, which includes work, of course, which includes running and other things, right? And it's so many things come together, and it's I think it's foolish to just single out, oh, I did this one run wrong and blah blah blah. No, I think we are very complex human beings which have a lot of different things going on in our lives, and not just 1 year, even like years, because you also been, for your example, you've been moving from Asia to back to France, a big move back. It's a lot of things that you have to adjust back to your French culture. You have work is changing a lot, so I think that's in your case. And I think people look at athletes and think they're machines and they can just train and then execute, but people tend to forget we don't know what is going on in the athlete's life, right? In the background.
It's, and especially in ultra, like all those endurance long distance races or sports. Funny, because it's the very simple sports, but there's so many factors that can impact your performance. And I mean, if you sometimes I'm like, I decided to move back to France to live in the mountain. Before, I was training in Vietnam, in Hanoi, the conditions. I was driving 1 hour to go to the mountains. It was so tiring. It was annoying running on the same trails. But then I was angry when I was going to the race. I was well trained. I was angry. Oh, not angry, hungry. No. And then now I have like the perfect conditions, perfect environment, but it doesn't work out, because it's not only this, and also maybe because now, since I have like the best mountains around me, maybe I have, I mean, less hungry with competition and races, because now I can go in the mountain every day. So it's not a reward to go to the mountain. Yeah.
Comfort can be nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is. I mean, I'm not sure that I know you're not comfortable. I know you're not a lazy person at all. But in your case, it's a training ground that is very comfortable in your French area there. Where in Hanoi, I mean, I lived there with you. We had zero comfort. It's a daily struggle to make it work, especially with running. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's strengthening your mind more than your body when you live in a place where you don't have like the best conditions, because
Yeah.
every day, as you say, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
But then if you live in a very easy and comfortable place where you can have everything you want for your training,
Yeah.
then you're not training your mind.
I mean, I can only relate to this right now more on the business side, as you have seen myself. You've seen me as well with Lecka. I mean, building a company in Vietnam, Southeast Asia is so tough. It trains your mind with business, and now doing my business in the West again, you're like, oh wow, this is actually so easy. It can be so easy, right? But yeah, I'm lucky enough to have gone through the Vietnam training, so I really appreciate now that how easy it can be. But yeah, so in summary, I would say for you, I'm trying to pick up different things with, of course, lifestyle. So like moving back, then there's sleep, there's nutrition, there is a B race, there's taking
Work.
much more work, there's more blocks, more rest blocks, better tapering, goal setting, right? So I'm right now counting already 8 different things that are coming together here. So it's a lot of moving parts.
But it's good to identify them,
For sure.
because yeah, as I said, if I would have finished UTMB not even with the result I was expecting, I don't think I would have like this analysis of of what's going on in my life.
Yeah. It's a great check-in
Mm.
to see what is going on, right? Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the conditions I'm training, like my wife is very supportive. I don't have kids. I live in the mountain. I have a job that allows me to. I mean, I have a lot of free time, or I can manage my time. At least I don't have a 9 to 5 job where I need to be at the office the whole day. All those things that are perfect for training and for doing long distance races, because that's what everyone is looking for: free time, mountains, and support from your environments. But sometimes it's not enough, you know.
And the Buddhist in me says there's always yin and yang, you know? There's always yin and yang.
Yeah.
And there's no better or worse. It just always comes together. I mean, usually I would ask people, what's your next race? But I think for you right now, it's good to just be in the moment, be in the now, and enjoy your environment, enjoy your life, right?
And also the difference with Asia, and that's why I feel less pressured and less stressed about that, is that in Asia you have races all year long, so you can race every weekend or every 2 months if you're wise. Here the trail running season is just over, so I need to wait until March, April if I want to compete. So that's also another excuse to do something else, to try a new sport like skiing or other
Are
sports.
you a skier?
I am, and I
Okay.
will. I mean, I will be. I bought all the gears for ski mountaineering,
Nice. Okay. Gonna join
and
Francois Den on the slopes.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's why. Because when I was in Asia, yeah, when you get injured, you're like, I'm missing this race. I don't want to miss the next race.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Obviously I'm not injured anymore, but I don't have any coming race because there's no. I mean, there is, but not interesting for me. So yeah, it's. I feel more like in peace now because of the season.
Nice. Awesome. Enjoy the winter season, my friend. Keep your mind steady and calm,
Thank you.
and then everything will come together eventually again. And already now it sounds like you're in a very good place. So it's very good to see that and hear that. Yeah.
Thank you, Marcus.
Appreciate you being now. I just realized again earlier actually that you are the only person who's been 3 times on my podcast. So that is it is quite special. Thank you for your time again, my friend.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for having me.